Justin Bieber seems strange once more, and this time it seems different. In recent days, he has been posting content that has generated a lot of conversation. A video that sounds more like a personal confession than a lighthearted update. Emotional messages and public arguments with pals. Fans are divided. Some are concerned that he may be silently disintegrating in front of millions of people. But he's now talking about the suffering he's been bearing. Hailey's response has further complicated matters online. What is actually happening behind all of this? Then, let's examine more closely what Justin has been posting online and how fans are responding to it. It all began when Justin shared a series of private texts on Instagram. This post wasn't made at random. He posted screenshots of himself breaking up with someone in real time, which caught everyone off guard. The texts were unprocessed. "I will never repress my emotions for someone," he added. "Relationships involve conflict. You don't like me if you don't like my rage. My anger comes from the pain I've been through," he continued. "I'm not used to someone lashing out at me," the friend said in a cool, almost neutral response. At that point, Justin started to respond more sharply. He said that their friendship was officially over, stated, "I don't need you as a friend," and concluded by saying, "Please leave me alone now, blocking you." The fact that he would divulge something so personal startled his fans. Social media took off in a matter of minutes. Concerned remarks such as "This feels like a cry for help" were among the comments. And Justin, "Please consider therapy," led to uncertainty regarding whether this was a component of a more extensive emotional battle. It was succinctly summarized by one enthusiast. "It is possible to break up with someone without having a public breakdown. He was only being open about his feelings and past trauma," according to several who stood up for him. However, several were concerned that his posts revealed intense annoyance, perhaps even burnout. People soon began attempting to decipher every word he published on social media, as though each line had a hidden meaning. Justin posted something that made the situation feel even more dire just when it appeared that things would calm down. He posted a video a day later that stunned his followers. His voice was wobbly and his eyes were fatigued as he addressed the camera in what appeared to be a quiet, private room. He remarked, "People keep telling me to heal. I would have fixed myself by now, don't you think? I am aware of my brokenness. I am aware that I struggle with rage." His remarks had a profound effect on individuals. It's more like someone reaching out in agony than a famous person complaining to the world. "The harder I try to grow, the more exhausted I get," he said. "The only person who motivates me to live a life centered around others is Jesus. In a few hours?" That sentence alone generated hundreds of thousands of responses. Fans seemed to be observing someone under a microscope as he struggled mightily to maintain composure. There were conflicting reactions. Some were touched by Justin's vulnerability, which served as a reminder that despite his notoriety, he is still a human. Others raised the alarm, speculating that he might be nearing a breaking point. His posts were inundated with comments like, "Justin, please step away from the internet. And you look exhausted, not healed." A few admirers saw a pattern in his actions. Emotional outbursts, quiet, and then another powerful message. Many likened this to his previous troubles when he appeared to be overwhelmed by the demands of fame and the music industry. However, the phrase "I know I'm broken" persisted in everyone's thoughts this time. It seemed more like he was talking to himself in an attempt to make sense of his suffering than it was a public declaration. His next action raised even more concerns about his mental health. Some speculated that he could withdraw from the limelight following the video. Rather, he shared a lengthy message outlining his reasons for staying in Los Angeles. Despite the advice of almost everyone in his vicinity. "Everyone is telling me to move from LA," he added in the message. "Do you think I'll be harassed to leave the location where my influences are most needed?" Although he acknowledged that the Hollywood lifestyle had previously imprisoned him and described it as shameful. He maintained that he had passed past that stage. There seems to be a sense of mission in his words. He implied that his presence in Los Angeles serves a greater purpose than fame or music by wanting to stay. there in order to be a light in a dark culture. However, fans weren't sure if this was healthy. "You can't heal in the same place that broke you" was a common observation. Alternatively, it sounds like you're trying to save everyone else, but ignoring yourself. Some people could see why he was standing his ground and refusing to flee the city that had shaped him. Others, on the other hand, were concerned that he may be caught in a vicious loop, yearning for tranquility but still lured to the setting that ensnared him. The same admirers who had pleaded with him to come back to Los Angeles during his period of seclusion were now pleading with him to depart. The cycle is perplexing. He wants to remain where he believes his impact is most significant. However, it's possible that the setting itself is preventing him from moving forward. And the situation descended into pandemonium before anyone had a chance to fully comprehend this. A paparazzi film that went viral on Father's Day was the next event that attracted notice. Justin was obviously tired of being followed as he stood outside a parking lot in Los Angeles. It was evident right away that he had reached his breaking point. His comments were sharp and his voice was tense. "You are not allowed to ask me questions. We are not friends." The circumstances rapidly got worse. Justin refused to be calmed down by a photographer who reminded him that they were on a public pavement. He responded by saying, "No, you don't understand, or else you wouldn't be here," for several minutes. Justin persisted in expressing his annoyance, stating, "You'll take this video out of context, like you always do." Fans became even more alarmed and perplexed when the video quickly gained popularity online. It was more than just a famous person who was irritated with the media. It was obvious that the person was having trouble staying in control when under continual strain. People were already discussing what they had just seen by the time that video spread on social media. Some believed that Justin was entirely correct. After all, on Father's Day, a day that ought to have been quiet and private, he was being pursued by cameras. Others had a different opinion, claiming that the video showed a tense man who was unable to control his rage wherever he went. It was properly summed up in one comment: "The paparazzi are no longer the issue. It's about Justin battling a deeper aspect of himself." Millions of people watched the video in a matter of hours as it immediately gained popularity. The way Justin repeated himself alarmed people. Despite his constant insistence that the media misrepresents him, was he just establishing limits? Or was this just another indication that you were losing your composure in front of the camera? The online reactions followed. Additionally, Hailey made a brief, unexpected remark that restarted the conversation. The internet went crazy after the video went viral. However, Hailey Bieber's subdued reply garnered the greatest attention. "Put the cameras down," said Girlbosstown, a TikTok creator, in a brief video that defended Justin. "Allow him to live his life and design his shoes. Don't bother him." With just one word, Hailey entered the comments as the video began to acquire popularity. Just that. Everywhere, gossip feeds were ignited by just one word. Some saw it as her steadfastly supporting her husband when everything seemed to go against him. Others interpreted it differently, implying that she appeared worn out, exhausted, and irritated by the constant drama. The stream of tweets began. Hailey's remark seems more like tiredness than defense, and she's working really hard to maintain composure. People started drawing comparisons between her tone now and her previous public demeanor. She was always composed, well-groomed, and protective of Justin back then. However, many have noticed that she seems to be carrying him through the pandemonium, instead of strolling beside him lately. The slight tension on her face when Justin appeared aloof or preoccupied was revealed in old clips from interviews and red carpet appearances. Many people have noticed that the identical phrases are suddenly resurfacing. Her assistance was nevertheless acknowledged. Justin's supporters were grateful that someone close to him appeared to comprehend his struggles. Comments such as "at least someone who knows him sees it" surfaced on Twitter and Instagram. However, the conversation didn't end there. Hailey's one word started a more extensive discussion on what's actually going on behind the scenes with Justin, as well as their marriage. People started making connections between his recent posts, his mood swings, and those in his immediate vicinity. The problem seemed much more difficult in light of the subsequent theories. Fans of social media quickly became amateur investigators. Videos and threads analyzing everything from Justin's captions to his tone in interviews to his attire. During public appearances proliferated on Reddit and TikTok. Some said he appeared to be trying to avoid attention without completely vanishing, while others said his enormous hoodies and subdued facial expressions suggested despair. This feels like 2017 all over again, according to a Reddit thread that went viral. Strange timing, emotional posts, and sporadic messages regarding faith fans began drawing comparisons between his current actions and the time in his life. When he publicly acknowledged that he was battling addiction, stardom, and mental weariness, he appeared to go through a cycle back then, withdrawing, posting something sentimental online, and then being missing for several months. People are especially concerned since he is remaining online this time. Some said that he might use social media as a coping mechanism and a platform to communicate things he is unable to speak about in private. Others disagreed, saying that talking about personal difficulties all the time just feeds the turmoil he says he detests. On Twitter, comments like "posting everything doesn't help" started to gain popularity. Defenders contended, "Least he's being real." The majority of people conceal themselves behind filters. He's expressing his suffering. Fan theories developed swiftly. Some speculated that his emotional posts might be related to stress from his relationship, job pauses, and current health issues. Others brought up his protracted battle to strike a balance between fame and faith, implying that he is torn between wanting to live a spiritual life and being constantly scrutinized by the public. For a while, Justin said nothing during this rush of online discussion. Only conjecture was heightened by that gap. People questioned whether he was preparing a more serious post, another candid piece, or a comeback. Many were taken aback by the tone of his message when he eventually broke his silence. His subsequent post didn't seem to be a return. It sounded like someone who has come to terms with being misinterpreted. He sent a lengthy statement stating that his faith was the only thing keeping him grounded, and that he was sick of people attempting to change him. "I've tried to heal the way people told me to," he wrote. "I've made attempts to alter who I am for other people, but each time I fail, I become even more hollow." The weight of those remarks was felt by fans who had seen him rise from teenage sensation to international superstar and witnessed his hardships along the way. Even though millions of people were watching, many saw Instagram as his private journal. It's a place where he could manage the narrative of his life. Some thought he was releasing what had accumulated inside rather than spiraling. Some believed that publicly expressing suffering did not always equate to recovery. The debate was captured by one widely shared comment: "Justin wants to be heard, not assisted." There was a recurring trend: posts that evoked strong feelings in the public, followed by justifications or clarifications. However, something was different this time. Exhaustion was the only emotion present. There was no defensiveness, rage, or confrontation. He seemed to have given up trying to convince people of his true identity. However, his choice to remain public keeps people interested. The very cycle he claims to detest is fueled by the spike in likes, comments, and headlines that follows each raw post. People's inability to look away may be explained by this peculiar blend of performance and confession. Justin's life has become something of an open journal, whether he acknowledges it or not. Every post and vulnerable moment feels like a page in an ongoing narrative. One admission, one poignant instant at a time. Fans are left wondering if Justin is at last finding serenity or simply learning to cope with the chaos. After witnessing him share so candidly for weeks, his most recent posts go beyond simple updates. They seem to be bits and pieces of a continuous confession. He has evolved over the years from a pop star to someone who is always attempting to show that he is better than his blunders. No matter how many times he goes away and comes back, the sound never stops. While fans perceive a cycle, Justin may see it as a means of survival, a means of continuing to move forward via honesty, music, and faith, even in the face of online misinformation. observing him in conjunction with Selena's cautious distance and Hailey's controlled support reveals three distinct approaches to managing celebrity. Selena keeps her distance. Hailey exudes composure. Even at the expense of peace, Justin exposes himself. People are captivated by that contrast. This is obviously more than simply drama. It's a peak of someone attempting to recover in front of the public. In his continuous quest for equilibrium, each post, lyric, and expression serves as a hint. One thing is certain, regardless of whether he's disintegrating or gradually letting go, Justin is no longer hidden. He is opting to be perceived with all of his imperfections. And perhaps